Welcome aboard, ye landlubbers, as we set sail upon the Azurite Sea. Welcome back everyone, I'm Hazmat Lorcana, and this week we have been treated. This Tuesday just past, Ravensburger dropped a Lorecast on us, and whilst perhaps there were some things in there we were hoping to hear about that we didn't, what we did get to see was a glimpse into the next set, and that is Azurite Sea. If it wasn't already obvious from the start of the video, Azurite Sea has a nautical theme in which we will be seeing lots of new pirate cards. As you know, with each set, Ravensburger introduced different films to Lorcana, and this set is no different. We have Big Hero 6 and Rescue Rangers that are the main focus of attention in this set. And whilst it was awesome to see some of the flashy cinematics, what we also got to see was some new cards from the set. So if you don't want any spoilers, look away now. Otherwise, stick around and we'll go through them. So let's start with the Rescue Rangers cards. First up we have Chip. He's a 4-cost inkable with a 3/4 stat line that quests for 2. And also, while we have a character named Dale in play, this character gains support. There's not too much to say about this card. It's basically the Sapphire Maleficent from the first set, but with a little bit of extra text that you probably won't get to use very often unless Chip and Dale decks become a thing. But the stat line of a 3/4 on a character that quests for 2 is still pretty nice. It'll certainly be a card that's useful in the limited formats. The next card we have is, of course, Dale, the Mischievous Ranger. Dale's also a 4-cost inkable with a 3/4 stat line, but he only quests for 1. However, he has a much more interesting effect. Nuts About Pranks says when you play this character, you may put the top 3 cards of your deck into your discard to give chosen character -3 attack until the start of your next turn. And what's important there is that this is till the start of your next turn. So it's not just a that turn effect, it'll last for your opponent's turn as well, meaning that they're going to be weaker on the offensive. This effect can be used in combination with any of the red cards that banish characters with low strength, such as Sisu Human Form, Brawl, or Madame Medusa. But, interestingly, it can also be used with cards that have graveyard interactions as well. Perhaps you can speedrun a Chernobog out. Next up we have Gadget Hackwrench, a 6-cost inkable with a 3/6 stat line in Sapphire. This card's a shift 4, but we haven't seen a small version of Gadget yet, so it's not too relevant just yet. She quests for 3, and her ability, Mechanically Savvy, reads, while you have 3 or more items in play, you pay 1 less ink to play Inventor characters. The stat line isn't impressive for a 6-drop, although 6 health does dodge Zeus, so is good into Steel. Questing for 3 is always nice, but her effect isn't really super relevant. I'm not sure that this card will see any play. We also have the action card Rescue Rangers Away. This is a 2-cost inkable action in Amber, and it allows you to count the number of characters you have in play, and then chosen character loses strength equal to that number until the start of your next turn. Again, this is another effect that makes the character lose their attack until the start of your next turn, and previously we've only seen these effects on cards like Kida. Again, this card can be used in combination with the low strength punishing cards, but realistically, I don't see it being played too much. Up next we have another Chip card, and this one's a 3-cost inkable with a 3/3 body in Amber. It quests for 1, and its effect, Dale's Partner. When you play this character, chosen character gets +1 lore this turn. And again, unless Chip and Dale synergy becomes a thing, I'm not too sure why you would pick this card over the Donald Duck card we got from Ursula's Return. It dodges Brawl, but really, that's about the only extra thing it does. And I think I'd just prefer having the Bodyguard. And the last Rescue Rangers spoiler that we got was Dale, a friend in need. And this card reminds me of the Sleepy card that we got from set 2, but a little bigger. He's a 3-cost inkable with a 3/4 stat line in Amber, and he quests for 2. And this would all be fantastic on a 3-drop. However, he does enter play exerted unless you have a character named Chip in play. So that is a bit of a drawback, and perhaps there is a reason that Sleepy didn't see much play. Mind you, if you play this on turn 3 and you're going first, your opponent's going to have a pretty rough time dealing with it. Moving on to the Big Hero 6 cards, and my goodness am I excited about some of these cards. So let's kick off with Baymax. He's a 3-drop inkable in Sapphire with a 0-4 stat line, and he quests for 2. It's not particularly amazing at first glance, but let's have a look at his effect. Fully Charged says if you have an Inventor character in play, you pay 1 less to play this character. But that's not the cool bit I like. His second effect, You Said Ow, enables you to pay 2 ink as many times as you like on a turn since you don't have to exert Baymax to use it, and that will allow you to remove up to 1 damage from another chosen character. Well, that's not particularly exciting, you might say. Wrong! Remember Grand Pabbie? Yes, I've been waiting a long time to try and make Grand Pabbie work, and perhaps this card, and one we'll look at later, is the one to make it work. I mean, just imagine you've already got Grand Pabbie on the field, and then you drop Baymax for 3. Use his ability as many times as your ink allows, and then gain 3 lore for each time you do it. The potential's there, and it's crazy. Next up is the first legendary we've been shown in the set, and just so happens to be another Baymax. He's a 5-drop inkable in Sapphire with a 2-6 stat line, and he quests for 2. And this is the other card that I want to use in conjunction with Grand Pabbie. So Baymax Armored Companion's effect is The Treatment is Working. So when you play this character and whenever he quests, you may remove up to 2 damage from another chosen character of yours. Gain 1 lore for each 1 damage removed this way. So just bear with me and remember that whenever you would remove a damage counter from a chosen character and Grand Pabbie is on the field, you're gaining 3 lore. So given Baymax's effect happening as well, you're going to gain 5 lore when he hits the battlefield. Now, of course, the problem is having characters with damage on them, I suppose. But, do you know what colour is able to damage a lot of their own characters? Red. I'm picturing a Ruby Sapphire deck that damages itself and heals itself back up, using Grand Pabbie as the finishing combo. Moving on, and we have an extremely exciting card, and that is Hiro Hamada, Robotics Prodigy. Hiro is a 3-cost inkable in Sapphire with a 0-3 stat line, and he quests for 1. So what's so exciting about him? Well, it's the ability, of course. If he lives for a turn, you can exert him and pay 2 ink to search your deck for an item card or a robot character and reveal it to all players. You then shuffle your deck and put that card on top of it. Now, this is awesome for 2 reasons. One, it is a tutor for literally any item you want, or potentially a robot, but I'm not sure how important that'll be yet. And 2, it allows you to shuffle your deck. So all the cards that you've put to the bottom of your deck for things such as How Far I'll Go or Visions of the Future, you'll then be able to shuffle back in. But make no mistake, the most exciting part of this ability is certainly the first half, the fact that it's a tutor card. But hey, wait a second. Didn't we get spoiled another card back in the D23 set? Oh, that's right, Oswald. This card's going to be insane with him. Yeah, so if you had forgotten Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, his ability allows you to, during your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's an item card, you may play that item for free, and they enter the play exerted. Otherwise, put it at the bottom of your deck. Well. Hiro lets you put an item on top of your deck, so you could simply put a lucky dime on top of your deck as an example, and then ink a card. Oswald's ability triggers, and boom, free lucky dime on the field. Kinda cracked. Continuing this wave of excitement, we have Honey Lemon, a 2-cost inkable emerald card with a 1-1 stat line and quest for 2. And here's the best part, that is her ability. Here's the best part. When you play this character, you may pay 2 ink to have each opponent choose and discard a card. So this card, in conjunction with cards such as Cursed Merfolk or Flynn Rider, is going to give aggro discard decks a crazy boost. The slight downside is, of course, she's very easily removed with a 1-1 stat line. Another Emerald aggro card that we got treated to was Fred, Mascot by Day. He's a 1-cost inkable with a 1-1 stat line, and yes, he only quests for 1, however, his ability, how cool is that? Whenever this character is challenged, gain 2 lore. So let's think of it this way. If your opponent doesn't have hard removal, then it's likely this character's going to get away with questing for 1, and then if he's challenged, you'll gain an extra 2 lore, so he's basically got 3 lore if he dies on the first challenge. And that, my friends, is value on a 1-drop. So with this card and the Honey Lemon card we just looked at, I can see Emerald aggro decks getting a real boost. Let's calm it down now though, as we take a look at Wasabi, the Methodical Engineer. This card is a 4-cost inkable in Sapphire with a 3-3 stat line, and he quests for 1. And unfortunately, he's not terribly exciting. He's basically a blue Benger that gives your opponent lore when he does destroy destroy the item. You can also use this on yourself if you really want to banish an item to give yourself 1 lore. And the other half of his ability, Quick Reflexes, says during your turn this character gains evasive. Which is okay, I guess. Overall, I'm not blown away by this character, but honestly, out of all the Big Hero 6 characters, this might just be the only one so far. Next up we have, oh my gosh, Tomago, Darting Dynamo. This card is insane. She's a 2-drop inkable in Emerald with a 2/2 stat line and quest for 1 with evasive. But that's not the great thing about her. Oh no, her ability, Stop Whining, Woman Up. When you play this character, you may pay 2 ink to gain lore equal to the damage on chosen opposing character. And this provides ping decks with an amazing win condition from hand. I mean, to play her with her ability, you're basically paying the same amount for Goat. And the best bit is you can bounce her back with the Muses as well, due to her 2 strength. So as long as damage remains on one of your opponent's characters, then you can just keep playing her and keep gaining lore. Honestly, really excited to make a deck around this one. And next we have Hiro Hamada, another Hiro Hamada card. This one is the team leader. He's a 4-cost inkable in Sapphire with a 1/5 stat line, which is a little underwhelming. He quests for 1, and his ability, I need to upgrade all of you, gives all your other inventor characters resist 1. But he also has a second ability, Shape the Future. You can pay 2 ink for as many times as you can on your turn to look at the top card of your deck and then put it to either the top or bottom of your deck. It's a fantastic way of going through your deck to find the answers that you need. Next, we have our first location of the set, the Galactic Council Chamber. It's a 3-cost location in steel with 7 health, and it costs 1 to move your characters here. You'll gain 1 lore every turn, and while you have an alien or robot character here, this location can't be challenged. We're finally seeing alien synergy. They've only been around since set 1, but in all seriousness, I think this card is pretty cool. I'm not sure if it will actually see play, but it being made untouchable whilst you have an alien there is pretty cool. There's certainly plenty of aliens we have access to, and this card would just keep ticking away, gaining 1 lore every turn, as long as you had an alien there for the duration of your turn. Or robot. I should mention robot, but we don't have many of those yet. Coming in hot is our next card, Hot Potato. It's a 3-cost inkable action that lets you either deal 2 damage to a chosen character or banish a chosen item. The way I'm seeing this card is it's very meta dependent. It's basically a baboon for 1 extra that lets you choose between doing the damage or banishing an item. So it has that flexibility that in a meta that could have a load of items might be quite useful. And not to mention, who doesn't love a Stitch card? Speaking of which, we have the most beautiful card, the Stitch Alien Buccaneer. My goodness, this card is gorgeous to look at. It's a 4-cost uninkable in Emerald with a 3/4 stat line that quests for 2. He has Shift 3, and when you play this character, if you use Shift to play him, you may put an action card from your discard on the top of your deck. Green Steel Mill decks. This would be awesome if you get a Stitch that costs less than 3. This card has some cool uses. Getting an action to put right back on top of your deck. The possibilities with that are endless. Yes, unfortunately, he is uninkable, but I imagine he'll be useful in some sort of combo deck that comes out of the works. Moving our way from our setly dose of Stitch, we have Mad Hatter's Teapot, a 2-cost item in Amethyst. And you can exert this item and pay 1 to have each opponent put the top card of their deck into their discard. This could be a cool card to counteract effects like Heroes that we looked at earlier, or even as part of an Emerald Amethyst mill deck, which I've seen versions of before. Also in Amethyst, we got treated to Sisu in her element, a 5-cost inkable with a 3/6 body, it quests for 2. The stat line's actually okay, 3/6 on a 5-cost. If you take into account the Challenger 2 as well, it becomes a 5/6 when it's attacking for 5. That's basically a reverse Maui. Not to mention, it gets played the turn before the shift cost on the big Sisu, which is something to consider as well. I do actually quite like this card. I'm not sure that it will see much play, but it looks okay. Kakamora is a new Ruby card that costs 4 but is uninkable, with a 5/2 body and rush, but no reckless. So he can quest for that 1 lore that's on him. Honestly, I don't see this card getting any play whatsoever. He's uninkable, comes the turn before Maui, and is just significantly worse than Maui. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Next up is Jim Hawkins, the Honourable Pirate. Now, before I even look at the ability, what I notice is this is basically the same stat line as Chempo, but for 2 ink more. Yes, he quests for 2, but my goodness, is he going to have to do something good to make up for that 2 ink increase. So his ability, Hire a Crew. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal any number of pirate character cards and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. It's not good. This is not a good card. Unless we get some absolutely god tier pirates this set, pirate decks just are not viable enough yet. This is basically aerial for pirates, but you can pick any number of pirates. I can't say I'm too excited about this one, but perhaps that's just me. I know there's a lot of people out there that want pirate decks to be a thing that will be really excited to see this card, perhaps. And here we have Tigger in the Crow's Nest, a 3-cost inkable card in Ruby with a 0/4 stat line that quests for 1. And yes, he's evasive, and whenever you play an action, he does get an extra attack and lore this turn. So perhaps there's some cool things you can do with him, but I'm not overly convinced that this will be a good card at all. It's just too easily removed, and it's not like the buffs for its strength carry over to the next turn or anything. It goes straight back down at the end of your turn. But here is where I'm going to point out something interesting about this card that I've genuinely not noticed on the other Tigger cards. So I'm going to pull them up on the screen here if I'm completely wrong. But this Tigger has Tigger as a characteristic. Does that mean we're getting Tigger synergy? Well, only time will tell. Following that, we have the second legendary spoiled in the set, and that is Yzma, Conniving Chemist. She's a 4-cost inkable in Amethyst with a 3/3 stat line and quest for 2. However, I don't know how often you'll be doing that due to the insane effect she has. Feel the power. So you can exert Yzma, and if you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. And you know where I can see this being really good? Amethyst Amber Hyper Aggro. You're basically playing her at the point where you are running out of cards in your hand, and she provides a way to refill your hand and just dump more things out on the board. And hey, alternatively, she can quest for 2. So yeah, I think she'll be a pretty useful card. And that's all of them. That's all the cards that we were treated to for this Lorecast at least. So what did you think? There's certainly a few decks that I want to put together as a result of this, and you can let me know in the comments if there's any that you can think of. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, please give me a like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. And other than that, I've been Hazmat Lorcana, you've been you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.